All right, how's everybody doing? I am the NASA Canes fan. I'm here with Cobra Kai Music and Mega Cloud, better known as Kerry. What's up, guys?
Hey,
You know,
what's up?
Yeah.
Saturday off of
So,
work.
yeah, it's a good day off work, right? And
Yeah,
so,
for
so
me,
what
it's
you
my
guys,
Sunday because I'm a day ahead.
right? So it's your Sunday because you're a day ahead, Kerry. Is that what you said?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. So so that means you're on the similar time zone to Australia. Is that right?
Yep, pretty much the same. Just maybe an hour or two out.
Right, right. Kyle, you're on the Eastern time zone, being in Michigan there, right?
Yep.
Right? Or is it
Should be the same as you.
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, what did you guys think of the season 5 teaser trailer we got? A lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah, I liked it. I had to watch it a couple times to kind of process it,
Right.
but it was
Right.
exciting.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty action packed for what we did see. There was a lot of stuff we
Yeah.
didn't. But Carrie, what was your first impression of that?
I actually really liked it. I mean, like Kyle, I had to watch it a couple of times, so I got everything. Um, I kind of wish they showed maybe Stingray a little bit, but I guess they're holding that back for the real trailer later on in a couple of months.
Right.
Yeah, they hold a lot back.
I suspect that because we know he's pretty much going to probably be
Look,
Silver's snake uh, to this year. They're probably holding him back. It's basically Snake was the enforcer um, in Karate Kid 3, so I think Stingray is the equivalent of that here, and I think we'll probably
Yeah,
get Dennis, right? So
I hope so.
yeah. Um,
What did you
one
think
thing
about it?
I was impressed with it. I did think that there was some stuff we didn't see there. Like for example, we didn't see Crease, right? We don't know what he's doing. Of course, we know he's going to start the season off behind bars, and I have rather a comical theory about that that I'll share with you guys as we go along. But
Okay.
we also didn't see Anthony, but we do know that he's going to be involved a little bit more in the Miyagi Do side of things, right? Um,
At least
but
that's the way it looks like it's going.
right. Um, I did think
Didn't
that
see Hawk or Dimitri.
right, didn't see Hawker Dimitri. Yeah, it would not surprise me in the least if Hawk and Dimitri got early acceptance to some Ivy League college or MIT somewhere, and we didn't see them much because their inner demon has been conquered. They're both they were both in the All Valley, right? So and Hawk won it, right?
I actually
I don't
think Hawk has a pretty big role going forward.
I don't think
Right.
if you saw the tweet I made, but I said maybe they're not in season 5 because their story arcs were resolved, so maybe they won't be in it. And I asked people what they thought. So what do you guys think?
I don't think they're done. I think well, Hawk is the champion of Miyagi Do. I mean, he's got to be there.
Right. I think he's got to be there, but I think his role will be somewhat scaled back, though. I mean, he might not get as much screen time this season as he did in the past, right? Because in the past 3 seasons, it kind of centered around him. In season 1, he and Dimitri were kind of the bully, right? And then in season 2, Hawk moved on to become the bully, and Dimitri was still trying to get a handle on who he was and get balance with himself, right? And in season 3, Hawk saw the light, and it went from there. So, Kerry, what do you think on that? Do you think it's do you think they're that we're pretty much done with Dimitri, or do you think he's going to stick around a little bit more there?
Well, I mean, I like the character, but I mean, they need to give him more in this season to do, to keep him relevant.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's my question: is how are they planning to keep them relevant? I guess is my thing, because we really didn't get a whole lot on that, right?
But it has to be an important storyline.
What was that, Kyle?
I mean, I think as long as Cobra Kai had students, there will always be rivals for Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang students. They might move past, one of their rivalries or accomplish what they set out to do, and then there should be another level to it. So there could be new rivals for both.
Right. And
what if somebody comes along and tries to take Yasmin away?
Right. Yeah. I don't. Well, I think that I think that's another thing. I don't think we'll see as much of Yasmin as we have. I think her her role going forward, we'll see her on screen, but I kind of don't think we're going back to that that Dawson's Creek level of drama with these main characters. I think we might kind of go there, with Kenny and Leah and that and Anthony and that kind of thing. But as far as the more aged characters, I think the Dawson's Creek itis is kind of over with them. And I hope it is, because I'm no fan of overdoing the teen drama sort of thing. But my other big thing is I've seen a lot of suggestions and a lot of speculations about how Julie Pierce is relevant and all this kind of stuff. And I'm here to tell you, I don't buy any of it. People with their constant theories about, well, Dugan and this, that, and the other thing from the next Karate Kid kind of soured me on Julie Pierce. I kind of tune that out now. I don't think she's relevant at all.
I think she's relevant. I don't think Dugan or any of the other characters are relevant. I think more relevant.
Right. I think that Julie Pierce would have been relevant in season 3. I think that's when she would have been relevant, because I think Daniel needed a little bit more of a comeuppance in season 3 with the way he handled season 2 by telling the kids that Cobra Kai was bad, and he told his students basically that Cobra Kai was the enemy. And I don't think that's what Mr. Miyagi intended. So I could have seen, Julie Pierce being relevant to come to him and say, hey, that wasn't what Mr. Miyagi taught us at all. What do you think you're doing? Sort of thing. But these kinds of crazy theories that we've heard over the past 2 years since then about, Dugan and Kreese knew each other and they were army buddies and this kind of garbage. I don't believe that for 1 minute. And why would the high school, what was he, a high school teacher in Karate Kid, the next Karate Kid, what was he, the ROTC commander? I don't even know, because I've only seen the movie maybe twice in my entire life. But I don't see how any of that is relevant to Kreese or Silver or any of that kind of stuff.
It's not.
there's so many wild theories going on out there. And I really don't think that Netflix is going to drop the coin to get Hilary Swank in. I just don't buy that. Especially not with the publicity Netflix is getting here in the last few weeks, right? So, with losing subscribers, for example, right?
Well, that might be the reason why Netflix pays to get Hilary Swank in to get more viewership.
Right. But I think that the main thing, that's the main reason they're dropping the season when they are, is to kind of keep the churn from happening. In past years they would have done it at Christmas time to get the subscribership up, right? But now they're trying to just hold on to what they got, right? So, I'm wondering if they're not doing it to kind of stem the fact of, we're going to lose more subscribers because, Netflix is making some unpopular decisions, and I don't want to go too far into that from a political standpoint or anything else, but they're making some really unpopular decisions if you look at what people are saying about the way they're treating password sharing and this sort of thing. So I think they may be dropping the season early for two reasons. One, to pay us off for having to wait 18 months for season 3 due to the platform switch, and two, to make sure that they don't lose as many subscribers, because that would pretty much put them in huge financial loss, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle, I read something today that said that Disney has had an increase in subscribers in the recent quarter, right? And that's even though some of their content isn't really, I'm not really all that impressed with it. We've talked in the past about the Mighty Ducks and what a disaster that is because of the way they've written it. With the fact that they don't have Bombay there, they had him there, and they did whatever they did, with it. And then
now they have no original characters in that show. That's
right,
ridiculous.
they don't have Joshua Jackson or any of the other original actors, right? So to me, that's been a total disaster. And then, I've never really been a fan of the way Disney has handled Star Wars since they got their hands on it. I think they've harmed it more than helped it with the movies. They may be doing some good things with things like the Book of Boba Fett, but I'm not a real big fan of some of their content that they've been putting out there. And Netflix is, angering people because of the way they're, worried about these password sharing and all this other stuff that doesn't have anything to do with the fact that some of their content is just not on par with what used to be there, right? So I think they're
to PC.
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm not really kind of trying to go there. I just think that they know Cobra Kai is their big hit, right? So they're gonna milk it for all they can, right?
You would think so.
It
would be their strategy.
Hey, I was just going back to the Mighty Ducks for a moment. We all know that the big three, they love Cobra Kai. They're big Karate Kid fans. But do you think the reason the Mighty Ducks is failing is because the creators are not really fans of the OG Mighty Ducks?
That's a big thing.
Oh, that's a huge thing, Kerry, because you can't run something the way they run Cobra Kai, because like you said, they're the fans of it, right? And here we have Disney on the other hand, who is doing things with the Mighty Ducks that's contrary to pretty much everything that they have, the movies were. So,
well, yeah, I mean,
I think
back in the movies, they felt like real kids. These kids just feel like nobody.
yeah, it feels like they're just there taking up space, right?
And I think, like, even after 4 seasons, the cast of Cobra Kai, they genuinely enjoy each other's company. They enjoy being there.
Right. I think that we're gonna find that with Cobra Kai, you've got a family atmosphere there, right? Whereas with some of these other streaming services, they've got kind of just a business atmosphere. Like, okay, we're all here to make money, and let's do this and get it over with, kind of thing. But so I think, if you don't have the family atmosphere there where you're all getting along and you all know what we're, you don't really enjoy what you're doing, what are you really doing there?
It's just a way to make money.
Yeah, I we know the big three love Cobra Kai, right?
I think Netflix in general does a really good job with reboots.
Right. I think Netflix has done a good job with that. I really wish that they could get the rights to the Right Stuff series that Disney gave a season to, and I think they've canceled that now, haven't they, Kyle?
What was it?
The Right Stuff series about the Apollo astronauts from the 1960s. That was kind of.
I don't have any idea about that.
Right.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. There was a movie out in the 1980s called The Right Stuff, right? About the astronauts who went to the moon and how that all started. There have been a lot of, documentaries and movies and so forth about people who, the people who went to the moon, right? But they started Disney started a TV series based on that. And, I heard they canceled it. I read somewhere this morning, actually, they canceled it, unfortunately. So I was kind of hoping Netflix could get their hands on it. I know they got their hands on Obliterated, which is the series that the big three are doing, that was supposed to go to TNT. But then TNT pulled a YouTube and decided they didn't want to do scripted programming any longer. Or that they wanted to reduce their scripted programming footprint, I should say.
Yeah, what are the chances of that happening twice to the big three?
Right. Yeah, to the big three. Yeah, they've had that happen twice now. But yeah, but I think Cobra Kai, as far as reboots now, is the gold standard, right? So, and that's kind of where I was going with starting with going to this topic was Cobra Kai is the gold standard, period. So if you want to do something and do it right, you get people who are really fans of something to be involved in it, right?
And you have to get the original characters. You have to.
Right. And you get, well, you don't have to get them all, but you get the right mix of the original, the original actors and the newer generation, right? Because we saw another casualty with Saved by the Bell. Peacock canceled the Saved by the Bell continuation, right? And while they did get the original actors, I guess the story just didn't match up to the original, right?
Well, they didn't write the characters the same way at all. They were completely different people.
Right. And I don't know how much of it had to do with the fact that you didn't have Screech, right? R.I.P. Dustin Diamond, right? But because he was a big part of it. I mean, he was pretty much the show comedian when it was on TV originally, right? So I don't know how much of it had to do with the fact that he missed the first season, and then they had him scheduled to be in the second season, I believe, and he passed away before that, before they were filming.
Yeah.
So we know again that Cobra Kai is pretty much the gold standard, right? So, not to go too far, and we've gone way off on that, but it was, we know that the whole point of this entire conversation in this segment has been the fact that the big three know what they're doing, and any other TV studio who's got the bright idea to reboot something might want to go to Cobra Kai 101 and go from there, right? But yeah, I mean, Kerry, did you think that the map in the trailer for season 5 was kind of like a war plan, that Silver drew up?
Yeah, I did actually. Because he's got an army past, he's got that military mindset. So he's slowly taking over parts of Reseda, and I think maybe he's giving the middle finger to Daniel as well.
Right.
Because he's in his backyard now, or he will be.
Right. Kyle, what did you think of that?
I don't really know what to think about it.
Right.
I just wish there was a little bit more context with what the map actually meant.
Well, for me, I thought he was like he's intending to expand Cobra Kai throughout the whole valley, and taking over large parts of it.
Right. And the other thing was, if you noticed, he's either, and I said this, I've said this before, I think he's either taking over Daniel's business locations, meaning locations of LaRusso Auto, right? Or he's setting up Cobra Kai dojos like right across the street, from the auto dealerships, right? So he can antagonize Daniel, right? I mean, his whole objective here is to get into Daniel's head.
At least it will be once he realizes Daniel has no intention of shutting down.
Right. And that's another thing. How do you guys think that's going to go down? With Tori, knowing that Silver paid the ref. I mean, she saw him do it, right?
I think she'll do the right thing in the end and come clean.
Right. Kyle?
I think she'll confront Terry about it, and then he'll convince her that she's going to stay and keep her mouth shut, and he'll give her money.
Right. Right. He might give her money, but he also might be kind of like, hey, remember, you benefited from that,
Right.
Like you said, trying to convince her, just like he told Daniel, you benefited from, because if you think about it in season 3, Terry felt like Daniel benefited from his Quicksilver method, because he told Daniel, he's like, you were a hothead. All I had to do was, get you there, and then light the match, and then you were off. You were good to go, right? Like he spent all that time building Daniel up, right? And then Daniel broke the guy's nose in the dance club in Karate Kid 3, right? And then in
Oh, sorry guys, you keep breaking up. Did you guys hear what I said about Tori?
Right, Kerry, I heard you say you thought she was gonna, she was gonna do the right thing, right?
Yeah, eventually.
Right. Do you think she would tell Daniel, or do you think she'll come to Sam and say, "Hey, Silver paid the ref"?
I think she'll go to Amanda because they made they had a pretty strong bond by the end of season 4. So
Yeah, it will either be Amanda or Robin.
Right. And if you think about it, you're right, Kerry. I think you're absolutely right about that. If you think about it, Amanda and Tori had that conversation before the tournament in the hall, right? And Amanda told Tori, she's like, "Look, all I really want you to do is play by the rules." And Tori, said, "Okay, well, it's karate. I can't guarantee that no one will get hurt, but she went along." And then if you think about it, she did play by the rules because, Terry Silver told her to do something and she didn't do it. And, she got the win anyway. But, so she did play by the rules, and she thought at the end of the match she was, she thought she had injured Sam, right? So she thought she had broken her word to Amanda, right? So I think, Terry's going to have a little bit to say about that. But, in fact, he's probably going to have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that turns out. I think eventually she will come.
Right. And what did you guys think about Miguel and Robbie? What we got of the trailer shows Robbie clearly unhappy when he finds out that Johnny is taking him to Mexico to find Miguel. And then we see clips of them going at it in the outside of the apartment, right? And then they're going at it again at the water park, right? What do you guys think about that? I mean, my personal take on that is, and it's a little unpopular with some people, is that Robbie was being a baby, and he needs to get over himself. After a lot of what he did to Miguel, he brought juvenile hall on himself because he's the one who kicked Miguel over the rail, and he can be mad at whoever he wants, Johnny and Miguel, about Johnny abdicating his responsibilities for 16 years as a father, but that didn't give him any license to kick Miguel over the rail. So what do you guys think about that?
I think it will be basically the end of that rivalry. At least I hope it will be. I think they'll have one more big fight, and then it'll be over.
Right, Kerry, what do you think of that? You think they'll eventually get to the end of that?
Eventually, the rivalry is going to end, but I think it's going to take more. It's going to be like a slow burn. I mean, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, they're just one more talk away from sorting everything out." But this is a guy that almost killed Miguel, and broke his back. So it's going to take more than just a talk. So I think it's going to be a slow burn. But by the end of the season, they'll be at least on speaking terms.
Right. And and the reason, and the other reason I think Robbie's being a little bit of a baby when he's talking to Johnny about, well, you didn't tell me we were coming after Miguel, is because in season 4, in the dojo, in the empty dojo, he's telling Johnny, look, I'm done with the hate with you and Miguel. I've done enough because of that, and I don't want, I want that to be at an end, kind of thing is what I got out of that. So I was kind of hoping he was, while he might not be completely over this, I hate Miguel, he's a son of a what kind of thing. I was kind of hoping he was getting away from that, and that he would man up and apologize to Miguel for nearly killing him.
I think the trailer is a bit of a misdirect.
Right. Oh yeah, well there's that. Who did you think that Silver was talking to, Kerry, in that steam room?
I thought it was Daniel, but like Kyle said, there might be a misdirect as well.
Right. You know, I wonder if he wasn't talking to Kreese or Stingray, perhaps, because we didn't
Stingray.
see either one of them in the trailer, right?
My theory is that that scene takes place after Stingray tells somebody about what happened.
Right, but Silver told Daniel, you know, that he was playing with fire. He said, "You're playing with fire, Danny boy," right?
Right, he didn't tell
But
him not
was
to
he?
play with fire, no.
But was he really playing with? Was he really talking to Daniel? I doubt it. Personally, I doubt it that he was talking to Daniel. I think he may have been talking to Kreese, or because by then, hopefully, I think Kreese is out of jail. I'm interested to see what Kreese's reaction will be when he gets out of jail. I mean, we know he told Silver he was going to regret having him arrested. So, and we know Kreese is a hothead, right? And he's not of the woke generation. So we know he doesn't go for this everybody getting a trophy deal or any of that stuff. And, you know, so we know he's a hothead, right? So do you guys think he'll come after Silver and be like, I'm going to kill this guy when I get through with him kind of thing?
I
Kyle?
don't think so. I think he'll feel
Kerry?
guilty about what he did to Kerry.
Yeah.
I think he will feel guilty, but because at the end of the last season, he says that Kreese is his weakness.
Right.
So there will be some regret, but he's going to put that aside because to him, I think he wants to open up all these Cobra Kais was his original plan, and that's more important to him than Kreese.
Right. But you know, Kreese, I think the big thing with Silver was in season 4 was Silver got annoyed with Kreese because he Silver told Kreese not to concentrate on this, you know, drama and the war and all this stuff, and to be real careful about the way he carried himself, right? Or he was going to lose control of the whole thing, right? Well, that kind of happened because Silver, you know, did what he did and having Kreese arrested and framing him. And, you know, but think about it, all through the season, after Silver came back to the dojo, Kreese needled at him, you know, about saving him in Vietnam and are you, you know, are you questioning my orders and that sort of, you know, thing. Kreese is still that old school military commander type, where he says, you know, you're questioning my orders, lieutenant, sort of thing. You know, kind of lording over him that I'm still in control here. Remember that, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle, did you think that Silver was gonna have? Silver was gonna have Kreese arrested, or that he was gonna kill him at the end of season 4? I actually have thought for season 3 and 4 now, and I've been wrong both times, that Kreese was gonna die.
Same here.
In some manner or other, and I've been wrong both times. So I'm not gonna venture a guess on that. But Kerry, what did you think about that? Did you think Kreese was gonna die along with us, or did you have a different take on it?
Well, I actually heard a rumor that Martin Cove said that season 3 was going to be his last season. So I thought they were gonna get rid of him in 4. But in season 5, I think he might have a big part to play, and maybe he'll get some redemption. So,
Right.
And I hope they don't kill him off.
Well, redemption is an interesting thing, though, because, Silver, if you think about it, in season 4, he basically admitted that he was on cocaine in the 80s, and that was a big part of why he acted the way he did. He was laughing like a circus clown at times when he was in the steam room talking to Kreese on the phone, and he was laughing like a hyped up circus clown. And we know now that he was hyped up. He was on cocaine, right? And he kind of told Kreese, he's like, "Look, I have my life in order now. I'm past all that crazy stuff, right?" And then Kreese managed to draw him back in, So I'm kind of a fan of Cheyenne. I'd like to see her come back and kind of help them take Silver down. I don't know how they would do that, but I would kind of I would have preferred her to have a role in taking him down over Stingray, but I'm not a fan of Stingray, and I've said that before, and I'm not really going to go back into that. But I would have thought that they would have used Cheyenne for that purpose.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Stingray myself.
Yeah. Kerry, what we never really heard from Cheyenne after Silver went back to the dojo. Do you think he told her to take a hike, or what do you think happened with that?
Yeah, I think they broke up. I don't think she's going to play a major part in season 5. She's played a role.
Right. Everybody. You guys know that everybody, including me, has thought for the better part of a year since season 3 that Mike Barnes was going to show up, right? Wouldn't it be funny to have him show up in Mexico when Johnny and Miguel and Robbie all find each other, and in the Fight Club we find Barnes, and Johnny meets up with him and explains to him what Kreese and Silver have been up to, and he comes back to California and kind of, instead of lining up with Silver, he helps Johnny take down. He helps Johnny, Daniel, and Chosen take down Silver and Kreese. Well, not Kreese really, because Kreese is really angry at Silver at this point for having him arrested. But what do you guys think about that?
It sounds like a good theory to me.
Yeah, because we don't really know, a whole lot about what happened to Barnes after Karate Kid 3. Did Silver fire him? Did Silver and Kreese, pretty much take Barnes and beat the heck out of him because he lost to Daniel? Did they? Because we know he didn't fulfill the deal, right? He was supposed to get 50% of the dojos if you beat Daniel, right? And we know that didn't happen, right? So what did happen to Barnes after that? Did Silver pay him off and just say, "Okay, I don't want to ever see you again. Get out of here"? Or did he give him a bus ticket and $50 and say, "Get out of here"? Or Kerry, what's your theory on Barnes?
Well, I'd like him to be a good guy this time, but I don't want him to show up and automatically be the good guy. I want to see him transition to one. I want it to be, I guess, a reverse of what happened to Silver. When Silver had found some redemption and he slid back to being a villain. I want the reverse for Barnes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Do you think that Kyle? Do you think that there's any chance that not Silver, but Barnes and Jessica Andrews met up after Karate Kid 3 and mended their offenses, and Barnes apologized for hitting a woman, which is not ever excusable. Do you think
Yeah,
he might have apologized to her for that, and they might know each other?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I think they would be too convenient.
Well, I mean, it would kind of be a callback to season 3 with what they did with Chosen, with Kumiko setting up a meeting for Chosen and Daniel without telling Daniel about it. I've always seen Barnes as kind of he would come back and say, okay, I made mistakes before, I don't want to do that again. So he wouldn't always line up directly with Silver, right? And that's why I brought that up. I mean, I don't suspect for a minute that Jessica Andrews and Barnes would be married or anything like that. I think that would be kind of overboard, right? This isn't General Hospital and Luke Spencer, and Laura, right? But how do you think they would bring Jessica back in if she showed up? Because Robin Lively has been quoted as saying she wasn't going to be in season 4, or I believe her comment was, "I'm not going to be in Cobra Kai, not season 4 anyway," is the way she put it. Which led me to believe that she could show up somewhere down the line.
It's possible, but if she does, it will only be for like a quick cameo.
Right. I mean, would she be in town in LA for business and perhaps run into Daniel, maybe?
Probably.
In public somewhere, and Daniel pretty much do what he did with Allie by in season 3, introduce her to Amanda and the family maybe, and that be the end of it.
Well, you got to remember that she wasn't playing his girlfriend in the movie. She was just a friend. So
right.
She might not be that important to introduce to people.
Right. And I think that it was written that way because I don't think Robin Lively was of adult age at that time when they filmed the movie. So I think when they filmed Karate Kid 3, I don't think that Robin Lively was quite of adult age at that time. So I think that's why if I remember correctly, I think that's why they might have done it that way, which makes sense, is to just have her as Daniel's friend to point out to him when he's being a jerk and when he's making a mistake, which he clearly knew at the end of the movie. He was like, okay, I totally wrecked everything with Mr. Miyagi, blah 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 blah. I wouldn't be surprised if you written me off and this, that, and the other thing. And then Jessica tells him, well, look, nobody's written you off, and just because I got upset with you doesn't mean I'm not your friend anymore, right? So I wouldn't have an issue with a cameo by Robin Lively, to appear to perhaps run into Daniel maybe at some important function somewhere, or maybe she's an ad executive and she's helping him, with a ad campaign for LaRusso Auto, right? And then I could just see that I'd like to be a fly on the wall for her explaining that Barnes and Terry Silver showed up after 35 years, but I think that'd be kind of interesting, don't you?
Sure.
Yeah.
If they can make it work, if it's
right.
if there's a good reason for it to be there.
Right.
That's
right.
the main thing.
Yeah, it has to be relevant, right? I mean,
yeah.
And that's with Jessica Andrews, I think there's a much easier way to make her relevant than some of these off the wall theories I've heard about Dugan and all this other kind of foolishness. because there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that he knew Miyagi or Kreese or Silver. That was never implied. And you remember, Next Karate Kid took place in Boston, not L.A., right? So and that's probably the extent of my knowledge of the entire thing, as far as Next Karate Kid goes. And I hate to bash on it, but I have, I bought the Karate Kid movie collection when it was out on DVD in the 2006 or something like that. And I watched the first 3 movies, and I may have watched the Next Karate Kid twice. And it wasn't, Robert Mark Kamen wasn't involved in it, I don't think. So
He wasn't.
So it just isn't my thing. And even though the big 3 have said it's canon and this, that, and the other, that's all fine and good, right? But that doesn't mean for 1 minute that Dugan and all this other stuff applies to Kreese because they were in the military or something.
Yeah, no.
Kerry, what did you think about the Chosen's "I am gasoline" comment?
That I thought that was hilarious. That was a very good. That was a very nice surprise. It made me laugh out loud, actually.
Right. Kyle, what was your impression of that when you saw that when Terry Silver was talking about playing with fire, and Chosen says, "And I'm gasoline," right?
Yeah.
I thought that was. I mean, I knew from that point on it's going to be on in season 5, right?
Right.
There will be absolutely no love lost between Chosen and Silver, period. But what I am surprised at, though, is that usually at the end of the trailers for season 3, they had the Crawler saying that season 4 was in training, right? And then shortly after season 3 came out, we got confirmation of season 5. And while it's been said that season 6 is coming, we haven't gotten the official word from Netflix on that. I'm a little bit surprised by that. What about you guys?
I'm pretty concerned about it. I've mentioned it a few times. It's kind of weird that they would wait this long.
Right, because I don't think there's any question that that Cobra Kai is getting the views that it needs to get on Netflix. I don't think there's any question whatsoever of the ratings, right? Kerry, what's your theory on that?
Well, I mean, I've always taken the season 6 with a pinch of salt because the big 3 have never actually confirmed, have never said there'll be a 6. They've always said they want a 6. And I think people just ran with narrative that there's going to be a 6. But I'm hopeful that there will be. I mean, we may get it around the premiere of season 5.
Right. It's just it makes me wonder. Again, and really not to get back on the topic of Netflix and their public image here, but I wonder if there's something going on internally with Netflix causing them not to announce that. That's like Kyle said, it's kind of concerning that they wouldn't.
Well, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I mean, if it does end at 5, I've got confidence that the big 3 will treat it with respect and end it properly. But I'm quietly confident that there will be a 6.
Right. All right. Well, what do you guys think? What if there was one thing that you could have in season 5 that we haven't had yet in the entire series? What would it be? My one of mine is I want Daniel's mother and Johnny to have a conversation on screen, and I want Johnny to explain to her about Kreese, and I want him to explain to her that Kreese manipulated him, and that into what he was in Karate Kid 1. So I want there to be some dialogue there. Kyle? What about you? What's one thing that we haven't had yet that you would want?
I want the rivalries between Daniel and Johnny, Miguel and Robbie, and Sam and Tori to be completely done by the end of the season. That's what I want.
Okay. And what would you do after that, though? I mean, what if there were season 6? Then what would there be if there weren't some kind of fly in the ointment somewhere, right? I mean, I'm not saying I want them all trying to kill each other, right? I don't want anybody swearing that they're going to get anyone anytime, any place, or any of that stuff. But
I just think they need to branch out into different. They need to branch out into different circumstances so they can come up with different rivals.
Right.
We're still going off Kreese and Silver all this time later. Why not come up with a new villain for the show?
Right.
They're still picking off storylines from almost 40 years ago. I think it would make sense to finally be done with that, and then they can move on to a new villain.
Right. Kerry, what was one thing that you would want that you haven't really seen yet?
Well, once upon a time, I would have said I wanted to see as many of the OG characters just go at it, But I think I'm going to get that in season 5, so it doesn't count anymore.
Right.
I guess I would have. I'm not actually too sure. I haven't given it much thought. I've just been enjoying the series, so yeah, you'll have to get back to me on that one.
Right. Yeah. There was one other thing that I wanted to mention was that I do think that there's possibly some unfinished business with Daniel and Bobby, because if you remember in the original movie, Kreese told Bobby to basically put Daniel out, right? And he didn't want to do it, but he did it because he was afraid of Kreese. There's never been a conversation with Daniel and Bobby on screen about that. And I've kind of wanted some clarity on that. Yeah.
I agree. I want that to happen.
Right. I mean, because there's a deleted scene from Karate Kid 1 where Bobby goes to Kreese and kind of quits the dojo right there at the tournament, right? So that is out there. I have seen that on the 4K release DVDs. Watch Party had made mention of it in a couple of his live streams, and I finally did find it in the recent 4K release of the movies, the first 3 movies. So that's one thing I do want. Last but not least, the other thing I might want is I do want to see kind of a reversion to what happened to Daniel after he and Mr. Miyagi's business ended, right? What did he do? How did he get to the car business? Did he just wake up one day and say, "Oh, I'm going to go sell cars"? Or what? Will we get some flashbacks about how he ended up getting there because that's where he met Amanda, right? We know that Amanda and Daniel, you know, the Danny and Mandy thing that they mentioned in, you know, in season 3, right? And they mentioned it again, and it was mentioned also in season 2, right? So I would like to know a little bit more about how Daniel got into the car business.
I think that was touched on, wasn't it? When in season 4, when he told Miguel that, oh no, in season 3 when he was telling Amanda and Louie that Mr. Miyagi got him into that.
Well, I think what he was saying was that basically what he was saying was that, you know, that he may have the line, and Mr. Miyagi told him, man who worked for money, blah, 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 and man who worked for passion, so on and so forth. I don't remember exactly what the line was, but it was something along that line. You know, but I think there's some backstory there. There's one other thing that I was thinking of, you know, we don't know how Daniel and Johnny got along in the 6 months after the tournament, right? If they ever spoke to each other after that, you know, I don't even think Daniel and Johnny have gone into that, you know. I might like to see a line or two about that, to, you know, just because I'm curious about it.
Didn't Allie suggest that they didn't talk after that?
Well, she said they pretty much left each other alone, right?
Yeah.
But then, you know, and she finally got them to realize, you know, that the whole, you know, argument and the whole thing that had gone on for 35 years. Okay, enough of that, right? You know, which makes me wonder if Tori and Sam will finally go to Robbie and Miguel and not exactly be friends, but they'll say, hey, you guys knock it off, you know, you guys get over yourselves, knock it off, whatever. You know, so I think, you know, I'd like to, I wonder if they would do something like that, if they would call back to that again.
I can see it.
Yeah. Guys, you know, it's been real fun. I've enjoyed having you guys, and I thank you for being a part of this. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here, and I'm going to ask you to hang in with me here for just a moment. Okay. So, hey guys, if anyone out there enjoyed the video, drop a like and tell me what you thought about it. And we'll do it again at a later date. It was fun, and we'll see you later, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for having me, John.
Absolutely.